I think for your audience, the most important thing to know is it's all just been following the path, and none of it was planned. And it's literally been, as we were discussing ahead of time, it's following the path through a series of portals that at the time all feel like death, and some more real physical danger than others, but each one is a requirement to shift identity to be able to serve at the next level. I was a tiny farm town kid in rural Illinois.
Where in Illinois?
Dwight, Illinois, about 90 miles southwest Chicago. And I thought at about the rate that crops grew, because it was a very rural community, and it was very, I felt very privileged to be able to raise almost in a different time relative to the world that I entered later. But my family and my father and mom always took us, they were passionate about nature. And so we had a van. We didn't have much money, so we had 2 car top carriers. So we drove to all the national parks, and we had 1 car top carrier full of luggage and 1 full of tents. And so we would camp all over the national parks, and getting into that sense of awe is always a sense of grounding and getting be a part of something larger than ourselves. And we drove through a national monument one time, the gates of the Naval Academy. The Marine gate guard made a mistake that changed my life. He mistook my dad for the superintendent of the Naval Academy and saluted him. And my dad's like, "This is amazing. You're going." And I was 16 years old. I was asleep in the back of the van at the time. And I thought, it's 10 to 1 guy to girl ratio. I'm kind of into girls right now. I'm not that good looking of a guy. There's no way I'm ever going to get to date here. I don't really like guns. I don't know if I want to march around like tin can soldiers like this. None of this seemed to be a calling for me. And so I actually, when the application time came, like I said, "Hey, teams, I love individual sports," and did everything possible to not get accepted. And as fate would have it, one of our dear friends, knew a congressman, so helped us to get the appointment. I was an Eagle Scout. I've come to learn later that an Eagle Scout and a sibling that's been successful are 2 of the highest correlations for success at the Naval Academy. And so I happened to have, unbeknownst to me, a lot of the criteria that would allow acceptance. And then I got accepted. And I had just gone to a university in Southern Illinois, and I'd gone for the incoming freshman visitation night. And it was awesome. And
you fell in love with that.
I was like, that's where I'm going to go. And I remember the acceptance came in the mail, and we were sitting at the kitchen counter, and my dad said, "Are you going to go?" And I said, "No." He said, "Unconditional love, you can always come home, but you're going to try this." And so I went with reluctance and hesitation. And of course that led to I-Day kicks off, and they're screaming about shoe shine and name tags. And of course I'm like, "Guys, relax," which didn't go over well. So I was ranked dead last in my company to begin with. And I remember I was suffering all the way through Thanksgiving, and I read James Webb's A Sense of Honor. And I read that book, and I remember reading it and thinking,
how did you get hold of it?
A friend gave it to me. I don't remember how I got it, but I remember I was on the airplane home because I literally had 0 time because I'd been scrambling. I did not understand the test I was in. The test was, can they give me 48 hours worth of tasks to do in 24 hours, and can I prioritize? But as a people pleaser, I was trying to do it all. And so of course I was failing at everything. And I read The Sense of Honor, and it was about a plebe at the Naval Academy. And I was reading it and like, wow, that plebe is doing some really stupid things. And I blinked twice. I'm like, that plebe is me. And it was fascinating. That's why I love community. That's why I love relationships. That's why I love being able to reflect in the mirrors. That story reflected to me a truth that I couldn't see in myself. But the moment I saw it, it fundamentally changed my entire experience, because I went from, there's no way I can possibly know everything that they know, into my quest now is to resonate with confidence, clarity, and conviction. And it completely shifted my entire experience, like on a dime. And there's so many moments in life where the moment, like my 4 meditations right now are for awareness, because I can't act on that which I'm not aware of. Discernment. So if I have greater awareness, ideally better actions. Wisdom, because I can teach knowledge, but wisdom must be earned. And grace, because there's so much beyond that which I can do. And so those moments of awareness where all of a sudden there's clarity, and that which was opaque now becomes clear, changes everything.